So walk me through, I guess, the evolution of it from maybe like business to architect and design.
It's interesting that you asked that question, because in the late 80s, when it was Miami Boston Scarface days and we started to do small little projects, there was no financing really available for new construction because people did not believe in Miami. So most of the money that was here, regretfully, was drug money, and they built offices and so forth, or luxury villas. What happened is that in the late 90s, there was this big movement of people coming to Florida saying, we want to come and live here. But they weren't wealthy people. Okay. They were people from blue collar, from the Northeast, and or from even Canada, French Canadians. When we came to Sunny Isles Beach, for example, and I opened up an office in Sunny Isles Beach in 1994, it was unincorporated Dade County. And we said, let's go and change the zoning and make it better here. And they were looking at the city of Aventura, and they were looking at the city of Sunny Isles Beach, and Sunny Isles Beach had such a honky-tonk name that the people who owned property there, including the politicians, said, let's see if the city of Aventura will allow us to be called Aventura Beach. Okay. We feel it's a better name. And the folks in Aventura said, no, we're not interested in being connected to you.
Okay. It's in the 90s.
It's the 90s, yes. There was a new mayor called David Sampson. And then there was a new coalition because they broke apart from unincorporated Dade County.
Right.
And that was arguably the best thing that the city of Sunny Isles Beach could have done, and kept its name and become its own municipality. And where we thought that the people who would come and live in Sunny Isles Beach we thought would be French Canadians, because they were buying. That's not what happened. The people who really came in the early 2000s, from 2000 to 2010, were from Eastern Europe, Russia. Yeah, and you have this big community there today, more so than ever before, that is what they do. And where we thought that they would have small units, they make these luxury buildings.
Huge.
Yeah. So it's evolutionary. Design is dynamic. Design is not static. It continuously evolutionizes. When we did the surf club, people said, the surf club, you'll never make it. It's Surfside is a honky-tonk destination. And they made it.
And now it's like probably the ritziest stuff.
The crown jewel.
It's wild. So for you, when you go, like, for example, through the 90s, the people that were coming here were domestic, French Canadian. Did Miami always have this like Hispanic allure and Hispanic sort of flavor? Or did that sort of grow while you were here?
When I came here in the late 80s. So I came from Minnesota, but the people who came quite a bit were the folks who came by boat or by rafts from Canada, from Cuba, because Fidel kicked them out, but he also cleaned out the jails. So some of the folks who came here, who might have been in jail in Cuba, came here and saw themselves as having an opportunity, a second chance in life. So I met a lot of guys, because I was in my 20s and early 30s, and what I saw is people saw that they have a second chance in life. You can see it in their eyes. They were in jail, sometimes for criminal things that they stole or they killed. But when they came here, they saw that there was a new opportunity for themselves. And so it gave them a new chance in life. And I think that translated to a lot of motivation and a lot of desire to succeed. And it's not just real estate or construction or building, which there was a lot of, but it was everything. It was infrastructure. It was selling vegetables and fruits. It was a real unique time to be here.
However.
Yeah. And I think in a way right now, we are potentially entering another cycle of rejuvenation. It's kind of, the way I see it, it's kind of like the snake takes off its skin and starts again. That kind of a rejuvenation. It's like spring in Minneapolis, or spring even in New York City. You feel new. You feel rejuvenated if you're in touch with yourself, if you're in touch with the environment. You feel it's a new day.
Yeah. And there's people always say that Miami is a boom and bust city, right? And I'm assuming your work as an architect during the booms is very, very busy. Towards the bust, it's less busy than it was previously. How can you maybe categorize what you saw, you know, in the 90s leading up to the dot-com bubble, or maybe before the Great Recession in 2005, 6, 7, towards maybe what we saw in 2021, 2022?
So the recession that you're referring to, when the markets crash and the bank crash, was an interesting time here because we had such big speculation. You'd get in your taxi and the taxi driver would buy 4 apartments, you know, in Miami. It was just wild. And that, you know, as I say, you know, come to Jesus Day was around the corner in different ways through the financial crash. But we were lucky in a sense that we've always done work, Cancun International, but people from the UAE and Abu Dhabi and Saudi Arabia and Bahrain and Doha, Qatar were looking to build their communities, kind of like you were talking about Honduras. And what they did is they invited us and other architects and planners to come there. And so in 2004 and 5, I went there, and by the time 6 and 7 rolled around, we were getting some serious projects for Etihad Airlines, El Ain Wildlife Park and Resort. And we made some major projects and designs in the Emirates. And when the market crashed here, we had plenty of work there. But really, the compression here was quite strong. And we were just lucky enough to be elsewhere. We were lucky enough that we had work in Caribbean, in Grenada. We were working on Spice Island Inn, which is a luxury resort. We were doing the design for Endura in Honduras. We were doing projects in Cancun, Mexico, and Puerto Cancun, and we were doing projects in the UAE. But the BAM and the bust that you're talking about, in Florida, when the bust comes, it always goes higher. So if you look at it on a macro, there's a continuous growth.
Uptrend.
Yeah, and that growth is backed up by public record. If you look at the public record of Florida and the population growth in Florida, and I don't mean just Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, West Palm Beach, now it's a new city, Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete, Orlando. The growth, even Naples.
Crazy.
The population growth is sustainable and resilient because people want to come and live in the United States or stay in the United States. And in the lower 48, one of the best states is arguably Florida. And that's what people come here continuously. The growth is very sustainable and has been. And we cannot build enough new product for the people who are coming here. You're not from here. I've never spoken to Tyler.
Michigan.
Where are you from in Michigan?
Holland, Grand Rapids area, West Michigan.
So what happened, we go to the UP, to the Upper Peninsula, Northern Michigan a lot, but he specifically is an example. And there's a good shot, more than 50% that he will stay here.
So he came here for a work opportunity. Then that work opportunity sent him back to New York, and he said, I'm not going back to New York. And then that's when we connected, because he's like, I need to find a way to stay in Miami.
And that's it.
And here we are.
It's like my son. I sent him away to Boston. He says, I want to come back. Right? If people can have an opportunity, more so than ever before, to live in this kind of an environment, and I'm not, and different folks love different things, right? People from the Midwest love Palm Beach and Broward County, or they love the West Coast of Florida. Everybody has their own little niches.
But it's here somewhere.
It is here somewhere.
That's a big, not misconception, but like a staple that I try to help people get through in Miami, where they think Miami is, you know, yachts and 11 and clubs and, you know, out late and drinking and all these. And like, it definitely has that. But I tell people, like, especially for me, for example, I did those things. And now I'm at a stage in my life where I rather wake up early, go to the beach, catch the sunrise, do yoga. And there is that too. But when tourists come, that's not what they think of when they think Miami. So I feel like now it's rebranding as a healthier city.
It is. And furthermore, that's why I gave you the picture of 1988, Miami Vice and Scarface days, because that's what people remember. And I like to have those kind of images in people's mind because it ties them to a face. And like you came here and now you're looking at the health and wellness. That is just one part. You know, when I started to describe to you how I like to be here with the tropical sunset and looking at the buildings, it was a stage set. It's like the Lincoln Theater rejuvenation to H&M store. Those kind of developments, they remake you. And as an individual, most people, not all people, but most people appreciate it and like it very, very much. And as you come here and you have opportunities for work, he has opportunities for work, you have opportunities for work here, it makes it better. When the opportunity for work is not here in Florida, is when we have a problem.
Right.
And